two really. One was you winning the Cage Warriors World title at the Ice Arena, because I say to date that I've never felt an atmosphere like it. And, for a Welsh boy to sell out, 4,500 seats and beat a lad that nobody outside of the gym thought you could beat.
Some man they wanna chat shit till I knock 'em, ain't like I'm Jack Shaw. Rolls hat, roll stack, my flow sharp like a hacksaw.
Right then, guys, welcome back. This is episode 8 or 9, maybe even 10 actually, I don't know. As you can see, I'm on my own today. The old man is down Cardiff, or was down Cardiff, having his 18-month checkup for his cancer scans. So good news, he just rang me now on my way here that all clear, all looking good. So that's some good news for us. Yeah. And I think he said if he goes down now in July and all the same, then he is registered as completely cured. So happy days. Right. A little bit of a solo episode. I will try my best not to waffle too much, as there's no one telling me I'm wrong or answering me back. But I'll try my best not to do editing too much. And I do appreciate the people who stick the full hour or whatever it is of me waffling on my own. So, before we're primarily here today to break down the London card. Obviously, we had the episode last week with Ryan, so we didn't get a chance to go over the Pereira card and Ankalaev UFC 313, I believe. So, just quick little couple of pointers on that one. Main event, Ankalaev versus Pereira. I think they both shocked each other. I think Ankalaev was surprised at Alex's takedown defense. I think he was 11 for 11 on takedowns and even took Ankalaev down in the fourth with like a little tie trip. And I think also Pereira was shocked by how accurate Ankalaev's striking was. I think it was a typical toss-up of the one, they were very surprised at each other's strengths and weaknesses, I think. It was one of them when it was a very close fight. I don't think Pereira fought his best fight. I think he looked very gun-shy, which is unlike him. Obviously, I know that has a lot to do with the takedown threat of Ankalaev. But I also feel like, after you've stuffed the few and, you're potentially in a close fight, you have kind of got to look to let it go and plant your feet a little bit. He was doing damage with the calf kicks, obviously. He was landing shots, he was striking and moving well, but there was a lot of backwards motion. He had his moments, of course, but as did Ankalaev. So I don't think he let his hands go as much as I thought he would. I thought early on he'd stuff a couple of takedowns, and I thought he'd really turn the heat up in the 4th and 5th round. And I'll give Ankalaev some credit as well. His striking was really impressive. We know he's a good striker anyway, but he did a real good job of not letting the leg kicks of Pereira, I thought, take their toll. There were ones landing. I know you had the southpaw versus orthodox stance, but it didn't seem to make a massive difference. Didn't seem to slow him down. Didn't seem to take him off his game. In terms of scoring the fight, I thought Alex definitely won the 1st and the 5th. I thought Ankalaev won the 2nd and the 4th. The 3rd was the swing round. You could have probably scored it either way, depending on how you're scoring the fight. I would have to go and watch it back. At the time, I think I give it to Ankalaev. I see a lot of people online saying that they felt Pereira should have won the fight. So I'm guessing they scored him, obviously, the 3rd round. But one thing I do think needs to be assessed scoring-wise as well is not only... So in the 4th round, you've seen Ankalaev do a lot of holding him on the cage a lot. Just doing the bare minimum, I suppose, and not get separated. I think the referee's got to be a little bit more proactive. I know they've done the one separation, but I think if you're just looking to hold someone on the... I'm all for letting them work. If you're looking for a takedown, let them work. But I think if you're just looking to hold and stall the fight out on the cage, you have to kind of be looking to get... The referee, I think, needs to be getting the guys to push the action a little bit. That's just my opinion on it. Obviously, you could argue the fact that it's on the guy whose back is on the cage to make something happen, which essentially it is as well. But also, I did feel like Ankalaev knew he couldn't take him down and was just kind of stalling it out a little bit, maybe. And I think we need to also I mean, I'm not trying to revolutionise the fucking scoring system or whatever, but I also think that takedown score point, I know damage is the primary scorer, takedown score points, but I feel like takedown defence has got to have some sort of score into it as well. You know, to stuff 11 out of 11 takedowns, like especially in that fourth round, where Pereira's, alright, he's pinning on the cage for the majority of the round, but he is defending a takedown. I mean, that's got to score something in my eyes, but, you know, that is me being a bit of a Pereira fanboy, obviously. But yeah, I think they'll do the immediate rematch, to be honest. I don't think there's many other options there at like the heavyweight at the minute, or anyone that jumps out where you think, yep, chuck him. I know you just had a good win, but Pereira's beat him twice. I suppose you could do him in Ankalaev, but I'd like to see him have one more, maybe against a Blachowicz, someone like that. Yeah, I think immediate rematch makes sense. Pereira defended the belt. He was active as a champion. He's a fan favourite, a good pay-per-view seller, which helps as well. So, yeah, I feel like they'll probably do it maybe International Fight Week, or maybe a little bit later, July, August. But, yeah, I mean, was a bit of a lacklustre fight. You know, we're used to Pereira going in there and smoking guys in way and cleaning them out. So, it's a little bit different to what we're used to with him. But, you know, not to shit on the Dagestanis or anything, but that's what they do. Sometimes they kind of come and spoil. I know Ankalaev's style is a little bit different to the other guys from Khabib's gym, but they do come and spoil. So, yeah, I mean, that's that one. The co-main, Gaethje versus Fiziev. I was really impressed with Gaethje. I thought he looked brilliant, especially coming off a big... Because the last fight with him against Holloway wasn't just the knockout. Obviously, the knockout was very, very, clean, knocked him out cold. But he lost every round as well. He got struck. He got game planned, he got worked, and for me in this one, he looked back to his best. And what was nice to see that the time off, I think, have done his chin good in terms of, not his chin wasn't good, I don't mean that, I mean sometimes when you suffer a knockout like you do, like Gaethje did against Holloway, that can kind of change. Your chin might not come back from that. We've seen it happen with guys like Chuck Liddell, etc. But he took some big shots off a real good level striker in Fiziev, head kicks, right hands, and his chin looked solid, solid as it's ever looked. And one thing you got to give to Gaethje, I think this is a fair comment to say, I think on paper, Fiziev is a much higher level technical striker than Gaethje. I don't think there's many that would argue that. But Gaethje is just so good at imposing his style of fight on people. He almost drags these high level strikers into like the chaotic brawl, if you want to call it. He's a technical brawler, I like to call him, because he's got a brawling style, but he's very technical in the way he goes about it. He's good at landing his shots. I mean, the way he collar tied into that uppercut that put him down was beautiful. Mixed in a couple of level changes as well. Looked really good. And he lost the first round, I thought, so he'd done really well to come back in the second and third. I was glad to see him back. I seen he's calling for the title shot. We could see that happen. If the Topuria fight with Islam doesn't happen. If the Topuria fight does happen, I wouldn't be surprised to see him chuck him in with Arman. But, yeah, Gaethje looked really good. If we're being honest, other than that, and the Rufi spin kick KO, there weren't a lot going on in the card, in my opinion. It wasn't a great card anyway, apart from the main two fights. That's just, it is what it is. I just think that's what UFC do now. They chuck on a good main event, they chuck on a good co-main event. It's only the landmark events, like your 300s, like your end-of-year event, like your International Fight Week event, that we get these big stat cards anymore. We don't seem to get the big stat cards just because it's a pay-per-view. It's gone very boxing-esque, I think, where we get good main, decent co-main, and that's usually about it. Maybe one or two star names if we're lucky. But yeah, not a bad card. The main two fights and the roughie, the rest of it was pretty shit. But there we go. That's how it goes sometimes with these not main cards, what they call with the pay-per-views. Sometimes they're class, sometimes they're not so good. All right, moving on to the London card. Now this, for me, and it's obviously going to be biased because I know a lot of the guys fighting on the card, but I think in terms of talent, this is a better card than last weekend's card. The main event, obviously, you've got Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. That is a big, big fight in itself. You've kind of got Brady, the up-and-comer, on the rise, only losses to Bilal Muhammad, devastating grappler, powerful guy. I lost to Bilal his age really well. And then you got Edwards, who was the top dog for a long, long time. And obviously coming off that loss now to Bilal, it's a case, I think, where a lot of people are going to be looking at this was what happened to Leon against Bilal, did that happen because of what Leon said, with the time, fighting 5 o'clock in the morning, struggling to get training partners for the camp because of the timings? Was it that, or was it that, Bilal just had his number? And stylistically, it's a totally different stylistic fight to the Jack Della fight, but Leon has had a lot of camps for the heavy wrestling style. Your Kamaru Usman 3 times, Colby Covington. Let's pull his record up, Leon, because he's fought a mental amount of wrestlers. He's fought Gunnar Nelson. So it's not like we can't argue that because of the Bilal fight that kind of wrestlers are his Achilles heel. He's had plenty of wins against these guys. Bilal, he took the loss. When you look, Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman twice, both wrestlers. DeSanjos, not an out-and-out wrestler, but a good level wrestler. Gunnar Nelson with a slick ground game. He's had plenty of experience against that type of style, in my opinion. And yeah, I don't know, in terms of prediction, I'd like to see Leon do it. Obviously, I'd like to see him get a belt back, but I don't think it's just a Leon thing. I think Brady is a tough match for all of those top guys. Bilal, Shavkat, Ian Gary, anyone, just because if he gets his game going, and since he's teamed up with Din Thomas, it's as if he's gelling all together, and he's not just a stereotypical take you down wrestler, stole a fight type of guy, not that Bilal will last out, but Bilal will just take you down, you get back up, you'll put that cardio and that pace on, you keep doing that, whereas Brady's got a different style of, I think, if Brady gets you down, he's going to hunt that sub, so it'll be an interesting one. The only worry is if Leon's had enough time to switch his training camp up. Like we said, he's gone from fighting I think Jack Della is a southpaw, so it would have been a southpaw striker to an orthodox wrestler / grappler. Co-main, I think it's the co-main. We got Gunnar Nelson versus Kevin Holland. Again, another striker versus wrestler match. Bit of a weird fight in terms of, Holland needs our win desperately. We haven't really seen Gunnar for a while. I'm sure these two were meant to fight before as well. I might be wrong on that, but yeah, I would sway towards Holland, but he isn't on a great run of form. He's had a couple of losses, and Gunnar's a tricky guy. Holland always seems to have a bit of trouble with the wrestlers and the grapplers. If Gunnar can get you down, he put you away. Also on the main card, we got Meatball Molly returning. Who's she fighting? I did see it. Sorry, that's not the co-main. The co-main is Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg, not Gunnar Nelson, Kevin Holland. Now that is a massive, massive fight. That could well be a shout for Yuri to fight next. The winner of that, Carlos Ulberg, obviously from City Kickboxing, 12-1, pretty much all first round knockouts. Jan Blachowicz, he's been out with injury, but we've seen the fight with him in Ankle, how close that was. So yeah, that's a big one. Big implications in the title picture. Meatball is fighting something Nunes. I don't know her full name. What's her name? It's not showing me her full name. She's 6-5, so not a great record. She's on a 4-fight losing streak. So she was obviously decent when she was 6-1 going into the UFC. But you can't really call it a gimme because Molly's Molly's lost 3 of her last 4. So on paper, it's a pretty well matched fight, I think. I don't know too much about the girl. Obviously, I'll be rooting for Molly. We're big Meatball fans on this podcast. But yeah, she needs a win, doesn't she, if we're being honest. She dropped the strawweight. She looked brilliant in her debut. She obviously lost the last fight. So we obviously want to see her win. And if she wants to make a run at the title in this division, which I think is obviously the plan, then she needs to get this one. Because it's not a deep division. So 1 or 2 wins puts you straight in our rankings picture. 2 real banger fights here to open the main card up. We got Jordan Fischernik versus Christian the Problem Duncan, not Christian Leroy Duncan. This is Scottish Chris Duncan, I like to call him. 2 not local, but 2 guys that the European scene will be very familiar with. Fischernik lost his UFC debut, but looked brilliant against Guram on short notice as well. Chris has looked really good in his last couple as well. I believe he's he's on a good run of form. Where we to? Yeah, so he's 3-1 in the UFC. He lost the one before the last, but he's coming off a first round. Oh yeah, he had that guillotine. He had that guillotine, didn't he, where the round ended and the guy was unconscious on him. So yeah, I'm a big fan of both these guys. Again, for me, and I don't cause no offence to either of them, but because they're both well-rounded guys, but a bit of a striker-grappler style fight. You know, Jordan, a very, very elite level striker, obviously can wrestle and grapple as well, but predominantly strikes. Chris does a lot of his good work in the wrestling and the grappling. Obviously out in the American top team now in elite level camp. Jordan training at BST Academy with Danny Batten, so a real good camp there as well. So yeah, looking forward to that one. I'm not swaying really in any direction the other. I would need. The thing is with Jordan, as good as I believe he is, we haven't seen him. We've only seen him once in the UFC. He looked great against Guram, but obviously, it's hard to say he's going to do this, going to do that. We just need to see him against that upper echelon of competition a little bit more, because there is a big jump from the Cage Warriors scene to the UFC, in my opinion, a massive jump in level. So that's not to say he can't hang at that level, but for me, we just need to see him test it a little bit more. But it's a good fight, that one. And then obviously we've had in the final on the podcast, we got Wood versus Charrier. A lot of people's picks for fight of the night. And is that someone ringing the door? No, we're good. That's a lot of people's picks for fight of the night. Going to be a striker match, realistically. I know in the final said he's open to mixing it up and this and that. I think eventually they'll end up striking. And I just don't, I don't see it being a grapple fest. I see they're going to come out bang. I am leaning towards Nathaniel on this one. I think he's very good with the low kicks, very good with his trips. However, anytime we've seen Charrier fight an out-and-out striker, he's done very, very well. So, two guys well known from the Cage Warriors circuit, obviously Nathaniel, the ex-bantamweight champion, Charrier, the ex-featherweight champion. Both got big followings. So, yeah, we'll see how that one plays out. There are some hidden gems on the prelims, lads, as well, that people might not always be aware of. Our boy Christian Leroy Duncan, he's got a fight against a guy coming off the Contender Series. Doesn't really matter who Chris fights. He's always in an exciting fight. He's always entertaining to watch. He's got a crazy style. He's always had that rugged, raw style with the spin kicks, the axe kicks, coming from the Mark Weir gym. Now he's doing a lot of training up with Team Renegade out in Tiger Muay Thai. You've really seen him refine his basics very well as well. And I'll be looking forward to seeing him get back in there. We have got Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin. Another good fight. Two ranked guys. Obviously, Mick 10-0. Training with Tom Aspinall, one of his main sparring partners. So, in terms of testing yourself in the gym, if you're an heavyweight in the UFC, it doesn't get much better. An up and coming out, it doesn't get much better than sparring with the champ day in, day out, does it? He's only going to get better from that. He's going to be well prepared. Obviously, Aspinall's fought Tybura as well. Knows what it's like. Has got the experience of being in there. So, yeah, don't be surprised. I don't know if he's an underdog or what. I feel like a lot of people will lean towards Tybura because this is Mick's first big test. But don't be surprised to see Mick pull that one off. And for me, this one, hidden at the bottom of the card. Or Jai Herbert's on the card as well. Always enjoy watching Jai fight. But this one's at the bottom of the card. And this is a real good sort of British clash. You got the Don, I hope I'm saying his name right, Colin Loughlin versus Nathan Fletcher. Now this fight, 2-3 years ago, probably could have been a Cage Warriors bantamweight title fight. I believe these guys have fought an amateur possibly as well. Let me have a look at that up, is it? But yeah, two real good guys. Anyone on the UK circuit will be familiar with both. And two, I think this style will match up nice. They can both fight everywhere, but Fletcher, have a swig. You can tell my old man, because I'm drinking the Monsters. He'd be buzzing with that now when he watches this one back. Yeah, Fletcher, a real elite level grappler. No surprise really coming from the gym he comes from Next Gen. All those guys are good level grapplers. And the Don is the same. Very good wrestler, very good grappler. Don't be surprised to see this one play out on the feet a little bit. There may not be a takedown. They may cancel each other out. Yeah, they did fight. When did they fight? Oh, so they fought the 8th of September 2018, and Fletcher won via unanimous decision. I think there's no video here of the fight. We're not going to watch it live on here anyway, but just clicking on the Don's record. So he is coming off a loss to Jake Hadley, which, no shame in that. Jake's a good lad, you know what I mean? Jake's a real good level fighter. But for the Don, obviously, he needs this win, doesn't he? He's 1-2 in his last 3 in the UFC, so no one wants to be chancing in at 1 win and 3 losses. He'll be looking to get a win here to kind of get a new contract, I'm guessing. And obviously Fletcher 1-0 in the UFC, so looking to carry his run going. And yeah, that's it for London. I mean, it's a good level card. We was going to do a live watch along, but I don't think the logistics of it's going to work out. But obviously we'll do a breakdown next week and what have you with the card. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. For me, it's the best UFC London card since the first one back. I'm not just saying that I fought on the first one back, but the first one back, you know, where you had Arnold and Dan up there, you had Aspinall, you had Paddy, you had Molly. And it was the first show back in the UK with crowds for a long time. So it was massive. We've had a couple since. I don't think they've been brilliant cards, personally. My voice is going. So I think this is the best one we've seen for a while. Top to bottom, especially if you're like a Cage Warriors fan as well. If you come up watching the guys progress from Cage Warriors onto the UFC, then it's plenty of talent rich there for you. All right. So we brought down the London card. We brought down 313. Got a couple of questions. I put a little story out last week on the Tank That page asking if anyone had any fan questions. I had quite a few come in, so I'll do my best to get through most of them. I don't want to keep you here forever on a solo, because I can imagine it gets pretty boring listening to me talk. So here we go. First question. Is there anyone not on the London card that I wish was? Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, the obvious two is obviously number one being Paddy. I think every UK fan would want to see Paddy on the London card. But, you know, he's on to bigger things now, Paddy. He's our biggest star. He's now fighting top 5 or top 7 guys with Chandler. You know, he's 7, but he's one of the biggest stars in the division. He's on to bigger things. Unless they bring I don't know, a pay-per-view to Liverpool, to Anfield, whatever. I don't feel like we're going to see much of Paddy fighting in the UK now, personally. I feel like if he beats Chandler, he's knocking on the door. They're not of a title shot, but he's probably 2 fights away. We're going to see him on main event. On main card on a pay-per-view, because he's such a big name. You know, he draws in buys. They know that. They know if they haven't got, you know, the UFC haven't got many massive pay-per-view sellers at the minute. So I feel like by putting Paddy on the undercard, on the co-main or whatever it is, will not only generate a lot more interest, but there's also a good chance to build him into a pay-per-view star open and that he gets that title stage and that title picture. I tell you what I'd like to see on here as well. Just I think he's earned it, is Modestas Bukakas. I mean, the guy lives and trains in London, and obviously trains up with Aspinall as well. But being a London guy, I feel like he's a bit of a road warrior, Modestas. They sent him to Sydney to fight Tyson Pedro. They sent him to Brazil to fight the Brazilians. And since he's been back in the UFC, he keeps pulling it out. And I know he's matched now with young Kutiaba, or Kutalaba, however you say it, the Hulk. I just feel like he's earned that chance to fight in front of the local crowd for me. Obviously not happening this time, so fingers crossed he gets the next one. But I would have liked to have seen him get a chance, get our hometown reaction, instead of being the bad guy in the blue corner all the time. Obviously Oban as well. Love to see Oban on the card. Again, I know he's got a big name now. He's fought on all pay-per-view cards, actually. His last 3 UFC fights have been on pay-per-view cards. But I just would like to see him get our hometown reaction. You know, let everybody see that he's got pulling power over here as well. I know he's got a big personality online. He's got a big online following with the American fans as well because of the WWE and they love all that. But he's got a big following over here as well. You go back to the Cage Warriors days, he had a big following in Cage Warriors. And I just feel like it would have been nice for him to have a bit of a... Or I say that, I know he couldn't fight on this card anyway because of the little niggle. He had to get cleared. It wouldn't have given him time to be in training camp to train for this date. I know he's fighting in a couple of months' time. I know the wheels are in motion, but it would have been. I would have liked personally to have seen him have that British crowd reaction. But it'll come. maybe next year after, if they bring a pay-per-view back. And also, one I would have liked to have seen would have been Luke Riley. He's fighting on the Cage Warriors Manchester card. I think he's 10-0 now, Luke. I just would have liked to have seen him have a shot at the UFC. I feel like he's earned it. He's very exciting to watch. He's never in a boring fight. He's got some highlight reel finishes. He's got a massive following online. He's got a massive in-crowd following. Obviously, it helps to be training partners of Paddy and Molly's as well. But that aside, without all that, he still would have had, he still would have been very, very popular with people anyway. So I would have liked to have seen him get a shot. He's stuck. I think he's stuck in a bit of limbo. From the vibe I'm getting online, he's probably going to sign with the UFC after this next fight. I would have liked to have seen him win the Cage Warriors belt. It's a bit of a sticky one because I think Ari Hardwick is the Cage Warriors champion at featherweight. They got the same manager, so they're going to end up fighting for the Cage Warriors belt. So it would have been nice to see him get the belt before moving on, but understandably, I think he'll be in the next fight. But I would have liked to have seen him get a shot on this card, especially with Molly being on the card as well. You'd have had half of Liverpool up there. So yeah, those are the guys for me that I would like to have seen. But nonetheless, still a good card. What have we got? With Alex losing, Jon Jones' only option seems to be Aspinall. Do you think the fight gets made? And if so, who wins and why? Yeah, I think that's what Jon was holding out for. I think that's why the fight hasn't been made yet. I think Jon had his heart set on the Pereira matchup for two reasons. I think no discredit to Tom at all. I think it sells more pay-per-views. So I feel like it generates more money for Jones coming to the tail end of his career. And also, let's be honest, Pereira is an easier style matchup for Jon than Tom Aspinall. And I'm as big a Pereira fan as anyone. But I think stylistically, you can't argue that he is an easier stylistic matchup for him than Tom Aspinall. He's probably walking around 230 £, not that much lighter than Jones. Tom's walking around probably 270 £, a real legit heavyweight, Pereira's got probably the heaviest hands in the UFC, but we haven't seen him tested in the grappling area yet. We know he's a little bit green there, whereas Tom is elite level jiu-jitsu, elite level ground game, wrestles very well, and again, the added weight makes that wrestling, that takedown even harder. So, I think that's the fight Jon wanted. That's not going to happen now, especially Pereira coming off a loss. I feel like they've got to make the Aspinall fight. I feel like it does get made. I think we see it International Fight Week personally. I wouldn't like to see it end the year in MSG because I just feel like that's a year then without seeing Jones. That's a year and a half before we've seen Aspinall. I feel like if Jon is not going to make this fight in July, they need to strip him and get someone into Aspinall because it's not fair to shelf a guy who's in his prime, his athletic prime. He's in, he wants that undisputed status. It's not fair to keep shelving him just to keep Jon Jones happy. And, I'm not arguing it. Jon Jones has got the right to do whatever he wants. He's the greatest of all time by far. He's the greatest pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. But at the end of the day, you can't hold the division. You've held it up for fucking 2 years as it is. We can't hold it up any longer. If he's not going to defend it, strip him, let Tom fight someone else, keep active, build the star, and then, if Jones wants to come back end of the year and fight him as the challenger, let him do that. It does not going to make it blind. I should well imagine Jones has got pay-per-view points regardless of whether he's champion or not. So it doesn't make a difference. So let's get that happening. Who do I think win? I still think Aspinall will win. I've always said this. I feel like he's a nightmare for Jon at this stage in his career. Maybe in Jon's prime, maybe it would have been different. But I think at this stage in his career, Jon's knocking on 40. Tom's a lot bigger. He's very fast for an heavyweight. He's got that one-punch power. As good as Jon's chin is, we haven't seen him tagged yet at heavyweight by a big puncher. Do you know what I mean? He's fought Garn, who didn't get near him. He's fought Stipe, who didn't get near him. I washed up Stipe as well, let's be honest. No disrespect to Stipe, but not washed up, past it is a better word. He hadn't fought since the Ngannou fight, so Tom is legit, for me, the best heavyweight on the planet, and I think he would beat Jon. However, I will say, after watching Jon fight Stipe, I feel like it would be a closer fight than what I initially thought. I initially thought that it would be one-way traffic. However, watching him, he did look very, very good against Stipe. I just don't know how much you can buy into that purely because we don't know. We just don't know how good Stipe was, what sort of form. Stipe just didn't look like himself. 3 years out of the game is a long time. that to come in and try and fight Jon. It almost seemed like it was for a payday. That's how it looked. Maybe that's because Jon is that good, he made it look like that. Maybe if Stipe had fought someone else, it would have been different. We don't know, and we never will know. I just feel like Aspinall is a nightmare matchup for him. So, bring on the Jon Jones 8. Next question. With the UFC up-and-coming stars like Ian Gary, Umar and Pereira losing, are they in need of new blood? Well, they're even in need of new blood, and they old blood. I think the options are you hope that Ilya wins the belt, or you hope that Paddy wins the belt, or you're out with them. You know, they come win the belt at the same time. Obviously, I keep forgetting Ilya's gone up, but they are the next two big stars for me, Paddy and Ilya. They're big stars now, not the next two, but they are massive stars, aren't they? So you want them two as your champions to sell your pay-per-view, especially Paddy. Like, out of everyone on the roster, Paddy's the one you look at and think, yeah, this guy could be the next McGregor, the big mega star is going to sell you 1 million plus pay-per-views. Either the new blood or they need some old blood back in the mix, don't they? You know, they need a McGregor back for a fight. They need Jon Jones active, which ain't going to happen, I don't think, at this stage in his career. They may need a Nate Diaz back. Do they sign Nate Diaz back on a 2-3 fight deal and get him to fight McGregor, or get him against a Masvidal or whatever? But if they can't just build a new star boom like that. Do you know what I mean? They need time to build new stars. And at the minute, I don't feel like that's really happening. I think you've got a couple of guys kind of could propel onto superstardom, but for me, the only two that jump out to me, I mean, when I think through the weights, O'Malley is obviously a massive star, but he's just lost the belt. So the only two that really jump out to me is Ilya and Paddy. So, you know, we see what happens there. But I think their best bet is to bring in some old blood, some old big view drawers. You know, your McGregors, your Diaz, maybe your Masvidals. See what they can do with that. I planned this answer in advance. Dream London card. So, if budget wasn't an issue and we could have a massive pay-per-view in Wembley Stadium, my dream London card, let's just say no more fights are happening until this card, I would do Jones v Aspinall for the main event for the heavyweight title. I would then do co-main event, I would do Leon Edwards versus Ian Gary, whether that be for a title or not, whatever. I would do that also for 5 rounds. Then for the co-main event, I would do Paddy versus Charles Oliveira. I feel like that's such a fan-friendly matchup with a grappling colliding. I would then do Arnold Allen versus Lerone Murphy to see who the number 1 featherweight in the UK is. And then to open up the main card, bit of a blind sign there for you, I would do Paul Craig versus Darren Till. I would re-sign Darren Till, do him against Paul Craig at middleweight, and have a big domestic Scotland versus England fight there. So there you go. That's my dream London card. Didn't do the undercard. Too many people. Right, here we go. Is Brady a tougher fight for Leon? I feel like we kind of gone over this. I feel like stylistically, yeah, probably. I imagine Leon would have much preferred to fight a striker and not have to worry about the takedown. However, when you sit down and think of it, he's got a lot of practice against fighting wrestler, grappler style guys. The only sort of worry is that he hasn't had the sparring for it, perhaps. But, you know, when you've done 3 Usman camps, a Covington camp, a Bilal camp, or for that sort of style, then that stuff doesn't just leave. Do you know what I mean? The techniques, the feel for it, the timing, that's still going to be there. So I think on paper he's stylistically a tougher fight. But other than that, I don't think it makes much of a difference. I think Leon is champion caliber, and I think he will be the champion again one day. So I think he'll just take it in his stride and, you know, go out there and get the job done. How am I doing since retirement? Yeah, doing really good. Enjoying the coaching, doing a bit of management, got a couple of other little things in the pipeline. Just enjoying life, traveling, spend a lot of time with my missus and the baby, which is nice, you know. Still training, trying to do 2 sessions a day, but it's nice to be able, if I gotta miss something, to go and do something I want to do, then I can. I haven't got the pressure of, oh shit, I gotta get on the gym in the back of my head. Enjoying my training a little bit more as well, to be honest. Enjoying the jiu-jitsu, doing a lot of gi, a lot of no-gi, and, you know, just enjoying life. Doing a lot more reading, trying to spend less time on my phone, working on myself a little bit, you know. Not that I needed to, but, well, maybe I did. I don't know. I suppose I am the one to answer that, but just enjoying trying out some new things, and just having a little bit more time for myself and my family, and not having to be so, tunnel vision with fighting. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the coaching. It's satisfying. We had a load of boys fight last weekend or the weekend before, and I've been working closely with a good few of them, and it was nice to see them like pulling off the stuff we've been drilling and working and game planning for. So I'm looking forward to more of that, but with some bigger fights with higher stakes. Mid-episode, he's here. You missed it all. I'm just answering some questions.
Do you want me to jump in?
Jump in, son. Here he is, guys. He made a guest appearance halfway through the episode. Well, over halfway through the episode.
Rest easy, the governor's yet.
Sorry, guys. I know you all thought you'd done away with him for the week, but unfortunately,
he's back.
He's back.
What are we talking about?
Well, just answer some questions. Just told them where you've been.
Yeah.
So some good news today.
Was it questions coming in live? Is it?
No, not from earlier, but good news today.
Good news. At my 18-month checkup, full checkup and everything, bloods, and all good. Good physical health, she said. Doctor. Really good recovery. I got to go back in July, and they'll do further tests, and if it's all clear there, they'll class me as cured. So 2 years down the line.
So when you're ripping the boys in the gym, it's still I used to have cancer. No,
that will be from July up until July. I'll still milk it.
Right. Just we're going for we've done the London card and stuff like that. So next question: what is my favourite fight in my career? Chuck out to you. What is your favourite fight in my career?
Two really. One was you winning the Cage Warriors World Title. The Ice Arena, because I say to date that I've never felt an atmosphere like it. And, for a Welsh boy to sell out, 4,500 seats and beat a lad that nobody outside of the gym thought you could beat. An undefeated fighter. And obviously the UFC debut was a special one for us both, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And to win the 50 Gs and just the performance and finally realise a dream.
Yeah, for me, to take all the externals away, like you said, like winning the belt and the crowd and all that, in terms of just the fight itself, I'd probably say it was the fight against Valiev.
Yeah, great fight.
Back and forth, wasn't it? Again, I don't think many people thought I was going to win. And obviously the Dagestani's got a reputation of breaking people and taking them to deep waters, and it felt like it was the other way around. I started a bit slow, but probably broke him in the end in the long run.
Yeah, 100%.
But he was a tough fucker, fit mate. he had it like a microwave.
Very.
What's the difference in an average week as a coach compared to a fighter? You
eat what you want.
I can eat what I want. I can eat more food. Obviously, I still trying to do 2 sessions a day most days.
Probably not as intense, is it?
Definitely not as intense mentally as well as physically, and just obviously spend a lot more time coaching, taking. I take about 3 classes a week now, and I help out
all the one-to-ones with the fight team.
I help out one-to-ones with the fight team. I help him out when he's taking a class. So yeah, just a bit less intense, a lot more thinking work, I suppose, rather than turning up and grinding it out.
You've got 30 people to worry about, not just yourself now.
Yeah, perfect. Should Pereira get an immediate rematch? Yeah, I've already said that. I feel like he should. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's hard to argue it was a close fight. And if it be fair to Pereira, he's fought everybody and anybody whenever they've asked him. He's saved a couple of shows. I think the least they can do is give him a rematch.
Yeah, and I don't think there's no clear number 1 contender either. I think there's someone...
Who's below him? Jamal?
Well, Yuri just beat Jamal. I don't...
I don't really... Blakovic is fighting on London. I don't think there's many below there that...
No.
And
the only other...
I think it'll be... I think it goes the same way as well, to be honest, unless you can catch him.
The only other wild card would be if Drikas come up.
Drikas, yeah.
But I think they would only do that if it was Drikas versus Pereira. Not
yeah.
Drikas. I don't think Drikas versus Ankalaev would sell as much.
No, I agree.
How hard is it coaching and managing fighters? Well, I don't really do a lot. I'm starting to help with the management a little bit. He mainly does all the managing and the head work. So I'm alright there at the minute. I don't have a lot of the stress to fight with that.
No, you're doing a bit more networking now, I know.
I'm trying to
get in touch with the shows.
Trying to get in touch. If any shows out there looking for fighters, we got a couple of boys wanting to fight middle of the year. Coaching, like you said, it's just more. I think you just got to be a bit more planning and stuff like that, really. Than with a fight, you can just turn up and listen to the coach. Whereas now I'm on the other end of it, where I got to maybe every couple of sessions turn up and and tell them what to do. But it's more rewarding, I would say, personally. Like I said, when we done the show 2 weekends ago, there was one lad, I'll give him a shout out, Tom Mathias, who I've been doing a couple of sessions a week with since the beginning of January, and whether it be by luck or good judgment, everything that we worked on seemed to come off in the fight. In terms of the offense, the defense, the game plan, and he put on a dominant display, didn't he? Probably
bit of a clinic, really, with the striking, wasn't it?
Yeah, arguably. Well, first 2 rounds, arguably 10-8 rounds. Nearly finished the guy in the second and won the third as well. So stuff like that I find really rewarding. And there was one other one I've missed. Oh, now that you're coaching, can you tell us some of the up-and-coming talent from SMMA that we should keep an eye out for?
I think on the top end of the tree is going to be Liam Davis, Bevan Hall,
Kane Darcy
are probably our 3 most prominent active fighters.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of young up-and-comers. I don't want to be putting names, and we've been down here before where we put people up on a pedestal and they fall off it, don't they?
Obviously, Rowan Crocker as well, winning out pro now, but he's
pro now. He's out pro.
But yeah, Liam and Kane and Bevan, I think Kane's obviously going to go pro now, isn't he? I think that's the plan.
Probably towards the end of the year now.
Arguably the number 1 amateur in the UK.
And I don't think Bevan or Liam got much longer. I think probably this would be the final year at amateur.
Yeah. If I have my way, Liam will have one more fight and then go pro early part of next year. He'll be 21 then, which I feel like is a good age to turn over.
Yeah, agreed.
He'll be
he's had a good apprenticeship.
If he wins one more, he'll be 9-2 or 10-2.
9-2.
He's 4-2. If we can get him a tough fight next, just a true test, and then she's going up the lightweight, obviously. Be nice to see him turn over pro next year. And I think with him, as long as he conducts himself, because we always said he's got all the talent. He's got what I never had. He's got a natural athleticism. Yeah, he's naturally in shape. He's naturally fit. He picks up stuff fast. Yeah. So as long as he conducts himself at pro like he has done his last,
needs to apply himself to the gym 100%.
As long as he does like his last 2 fights, he really put a good shift in. I felt in comparison to his other ones.
Yeah,
and same with Kane. Kane is always in the gym.
Yeah, Kane. No one works harder than Kane.
He's the hardest worker in the room, and I think if he just keeps continuing to get better and improve, then he'll have a real good pro career in front of him.
Yeah.
Bevan's the same. Bevan got all the all-round talent, skills.
Bevan, for an all-rounder, is probably the most well-rounded.
Yeah.
I think in every area.
Typical little fucking flyweight. He's good everywhere, don't stop.
Don't stop, engine for days.
But yeah, those are the 3 that jump out. We got a big stable of amateur boys who are really, really good from, like we said, ages 16 up until 21. But
the group we got there now, 16 to 19, are terrifying, I think.
But as we all know, commitments can change.
Yeah, listen,
can change.
We've been here before. This will be the next big thing. This will be the next big thing. And they drop off, don't they? You know, but fingers crossed, these boys have got their mindset that this is what they want to do. And like I said, you can lead an horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Here we go. Anything you want to add, Rich?
Nothing. Apart from, I am drained.
There we go then. Like I said, sorry bombarded the solo episode. I know we thought we'd rid of him for a week, but there we go.
Back from hospital early.
Back from hospital. Guys, as always, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, all this and that, all that jazz. We'll be back, hopefully with a guest next week. I think we got a guest booked, so enjoy the fights on the weekend. Let us know in the comments if you agree with my breakdown. And let us know what your dream London card would be. I've given you mine. Let me know what you would add. And we'll see you next week.
Over and out.